Hello, beautiful people. Carl, Brendan, and Dan here from Games, Brains, and Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial.com for short. And there's a time recording. This time last week, we were all, I think you were probably watching All from L, Brendan, at this time. But
Yeah,
I think I might have been, I don't know where I was, but certainly was full of drink in a field somewhere in Derbyshire where in the company of Bloodstock, many other people. So yeah, it's been a week since we arrived at Bloodstock on a Thursday, and hasn't it gone fast?
yeah. When
Yes.
you said it's been a week, man, that doesn't sound real. But I guess that's
Yeah.
partly due to coming back on the Monday as well. So kind of Monday still felt like a Bloodstock day, even though half of it was at home. So it's like Tuesday was the first time it's back to normality.
Mm.
I'm still
And
tired.
yeah, I've had a few people say that to me as well. It's just like, have you gone back to work yet, Brendan?
Yeah, I went back Tuesday. So I think
That's
I got home
something.
probably on Monday, maybe about I can't remember, like 1:32, and by the time you've like unpacked the car and done all that sort of stuff, probably sort of settled about 5 or 6, and then went into work on the Tuesday. So it felt like it was like I'd come straight back and gone in, but obviously it wasn't. Um, and I'm trying, you're just trying to get back in the swing of things, aren't you? So I was back in the gym Wednesday morning, Thursday, but this morning struggling to run because my feet are still a little sore. They're like muscles are still a little tight, but
Yeah,
yeah.
you'll get there. It is part of the journey on the way back. You would have got home probably what, about 3 o'clock in the end, Dan, right? Maybe 3:30 after all the stuff we didn't know what before you went home.
Yeah, I think I just got home, I unpacked, I cooked dinner for everyone, and then yeah, I've just been like trying to chill since rest. I've got a bit of a cold, face is still a bit sore, so it's been like extra recovery, I feel like,
Yeah.
usual than usual.
Yes, of course. So we'll get into that a little bit later on. But yeah, it's just that extra and weirdly that extra getting home on Monday definitely threw us all off. I think because it's the first time any of us have ever done that. So it's been like first time basically, folks. In so I'm the longest attendee of all, and but like not by too many years over Brendan. And like, I've never seen a Monday morning at Bloodstock, and I'm 99% sure you haven't either, Brendan.
No, 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 I haven't either.
So you
No, it
haven't
was
either, Dan.
I definitely haven't. That was my sixth year.
Yeah,
Let,
there it is.
yeah. I don't know
So
if I
we're
would
gonna,
again.
yeah,
I'm a bit
well, yeah,
curious.
yeah. There are pros and cons to it, and at the moment, I lean more towards the cons side of things. Yeah, okay, it was cool to be able to have a kind of drink and not sort of think about driving back that night and stuff like that. But the time lost on Monday and yeah, and the packing up Monday morning was so uncomfortable, and the drive home, I hated that drive home. That was just not fun.
Yeah,
It
no,
felt it felt like sorry.
Go
It felt like it only took like 3 hours to drive there, but I swear to God, the drive back felt like three times as long. I don't know what it was.
Well,
I,
we could certainly say part of that come from the. Well, we know we'll get onto that actually. You know what? We'll get onto that. Go on,
Yeah.
Brendan.
yeah, I was just gonna say that like the one thing that I didn't really experience on the Monday that I thought I would was I was still like as tired as I would. Like normally when I drive back on a Sunday night, there's this long stretch of the road, obviously where it's 60 miles before you do anything, you know. And a large part of the drive back when you're doing it late at night is just keeping yourself awake and focused. And I thought that's the one thing I wouldn't suffer from on the Monday, but actually I felt worse on the Monday, and I was more like, holy shit, fucking hell, you might need to pull over and rest here for a bit. So
Yeah, we
yeah,
got to the stage where services was a must. Like we had to stop, because it was just getting like, yeah, it was getting so exhausting and antsy, and yeah, we just had to.
yeah,
Okay, so folks, in this video, we've started off with a moan, but that's partially because it sort of fits the tone of this video where we go through the good, the bad, and the ugly of Bloodstock 2025, where we tell you all about things that we think were good this year, all the things that we thought were bad, and all the ugly things that don't quite fit in the bad, and obviously not the good, but maybe we just weren't quite as pretty as we'd have hoped. So yeah, what we're going to do is between the three of us, we're going to take it in turns to kind of give you a good, basically. We're going to start off with the positive stuff. And then we'll chime in. And obviously, if this is on your list, then just remove it afterwards. But I'll get us started with a really easy one. Now, obviously, this is not the band review, folks. The band review is a separate video. Go check that out elsewhere. But I just want to say overall, even though it wasn't necessarily the best lineup for me, like e.g. of bands that I was desperate to see, I think overall it was a strong lineup with a variety across many genres, balanced well between big boys and the sort of smaller new blood stuff. I'd say overall I think the lineup was strong. I think the lineup was good, particularly from a headline perspective as well.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I didn't actually have it on my list, so I was just like avoiding anything musical. But you know, 100% agree. A large part of the festival for me these days is bringing Rose and her seeing these bands for the first time. So even though I may have seen a lot of the bands before, especially when you get to that headliner level, it makes it more exciting for me because she hasn't. So, it's not like if it was just me and she wasn't there, I think there'd probably be a little bit of me like going, oh man, give me someone new, you know.
Hmm.
Like that gives me that extra sort of incentive, to be like, oh, cool, people we've seen before, but she hasn't.
Yeah, I can echo a similar sentiment. There's a lot of the bands I had seen, but the one Bloodstock's kind of always a mixed bag for me. So I just go and see kind of whatever. Sometimes I don't know what's happening, so I just pick whoever's got the coolest name or logo. And I saw
And
loads
it
that I
works.
really enjoyed. Yeah.
Okay, you go now, Dan. A good.
Oh, I'll let Brendan go first.
Okay. I'll go for the nice easy ones then as
Hmm.
well. I did originally just write the Black Beer Bar, which was like
Okay.
just a small bar that was over near the gaming tent, I think it was that side, which was called the Black Beer Bar, which just served black beer as in Guinness, different stouts and stuff like that. And obviously being a new convert to stout, when I came across that, I was like, oh yeah, this is great. So I was really happy with that. But then I kind of expanded it more into just the bars in general, where, there are a lot of drinks that I quite liked. Um, Bar staff were always friendly. Their service was, I don't think I have really experienced anything particularly slow or any sort of
Hmm.
mad queues. The busiest one was Lemmy's, but even that moved pretty quickly. So generally, very, very happy with the bars.
I want to shout out the slushy place in VIP. Those alcoholic Kraken slushies. They that especially on that Sunday where it was really hot, they got me through that day.
Yeah, the pina coladas were fabulous, and it was a shame when they kind of run out at midday. I think around mid Sunday. Naturally, being quite a popular drink, of course. But yeah, I'd also like to shout them out too. That was a great. It was great all weekend. To be fair, just when I needed a refresh. But I echo what Brendan said as well with regard to the bars. I got nothing to complain about there. I really don't. There's some lovely people I met at the Serpent's Lair on the other side, greeted with a lot of smiles. Lemmy's was always fast. I mean, it didn't go to too many others. It was really just those two and the slushy place, I think. I don't remember. Well, and the ones in like Sophie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely bought drinks in Sophie. I bought drinks in the New Blood stage as well. So frequented quite a few of them.
I mean, well, we're shouting out drinks as well. I just want to mention Lily's mango cider. Sorted me out a lot during the weekend. Couldn't drink as much as it because every time I had one in my hand, those blast wasps came along, but we'll get to them later on. But yeah, Lily's mango cider. It was a nice, refreshing break in between beer here and there. Go on, Dan, you got a good?
I have a good I'm gonna keep it on theme with my last one, but the burger place in VIP or the
Oh,
the food place in there. Oh my God, it was so good. Um I, they were just serving like burgers and hot dogs, but I kept going round and I just kept going back there because it was just the best shit I was having. They also had actual vegetables, which was quite nice.
okay. I can't remember the name of the place. I can't either, but I never ate any later food, but I had breakfast there a couple of times and they did like metal themed, it was all like metal themed bacon sandwiches and sausage rolls, but they did like one that was basically like an egg, sausage, bacon, hash brown in it. And I had that two mornings in a row and it was really, really nice. So I do kind of agree with you on that one. But we'll do all the food ones now actually in a row because I kind of listed the places I ate the most. And one of them, of course, is always the Goyo is a place which is simply fabulous. There's always Japanese dumplings with their curry chips was fantastic. But surprisingly, the surprise winner of the best food I ate all weekend was one I generally didn't think I would have believed. And I ate it twice in the end. It was that good. Fish and chips. The fish and chip stall was fucking excellent. Yeah, that's my food.
Yeah, it was a surprise when you told me that when we were there, to be honest with you, because I don't know, I guess it just sounds like so sort of run of the mill, doesn't it? But
Mm,
there you go. Um, I mean, I ate at quite a few different places. I think I went to Bunny Chow a couple of times. Of course, that was as consistently the same quality as it is every single year.
hmm
Credit to them for that. Plus, they was giving out free sun cream to people if you needed it as well, which was also nice.
Nice.
Being a person who burns within 3 seconds of applying factor 10,000. It's like, oh, that 10 seconds later, that's all gone and soaked in. I need more. I also had dumplings the first time, the gyoza as well, and that was very nice. And I also had curry chips, but I did have pork in mine. What else did I have? I ate from the Texas Smokehouse. I had a hot dog, sausage from there, whatever is a loaded dog, and which was nice.
Yep.
I mean, aside from that and breakfast, just because of the time that I get up and sort of all arena and VIP stuff and all that being empty, I only ate breakfast really from the one in the VIP campsite, um, which was, the same thing every morning. I just had a bacon roll, which was fine. It was bacon in a bap, just made sure I put plenty of sauce in it, and
Yeah.
it was absolutely fine. Yeah, I mean, other than that, I think that was probably about it. Obviously, drink wise and stuff like that as well. Just while we're talking about like out on the
Hmm.
food sort of thing, I would, I would, because we're doing positives actually. We'll come back on that one.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. Sticking to
Yeah.
food though, I actually ended up catching a part of the eating contest, the potato eating contest. I can't remember how I ended up round there, but I got there with my GoPro and one was happening, so I was able to get up close and film some of it. So it'll be part of one of our videos as well. And the energy and the crowd and the excitement of it, I think this should be a yearly thing. I think it was a genius idea of a fun, different thing that was clearly very interactive and people were having fun with. I think the eating contests one at least I saw, and I hope the others won as well, looked like a really fun, silly, good idea to kind of like of different things around it. So yeah, very pro that the eating contest.
I want to know what people are going through. Like, you're at a festival for like the rest of the day. What time was it? Was it like midday?
Oh, it was in the early evening. This one, I think, late afternoon, maybe about 4 or 5.
That's got to be like eating fucking however many potatoes. That's got to do a toll.
Yeah, look, it's a competition, man. The things people
Well,
are
that's
doing
the
for a
point.
contest.
Do you know what? Like, if I ever had to do like a Bloodstock on my own, I'm a little fucking povo in it. That would be my food sorted for like the whole
There you
weekend.
go.
Yeah. Yeah, I did see. I had like not in person, but I have seen like clips and videos of the bunny chow one, which I think was a speed eating rather than a
Speed.
volume. And I don't know who it was. I don't even know if the person won it, but in the clip, I watched this person with a fork like 100 miles an hour, like that, and I was
Jesus.
just like, "Oh my God!" Like I can't even move my arm that quickly. I just hurt myself trying to do it, And I just so yeah, it looked like it was fun. I wish I'd seen some of it.
Cool. Okay, who wants to take it a good? Another good.
I'll do another good. So generally across the whole place, but I guess I'm more focused on the VIP side of things. Toilets, shower, cleanliness being restocked and everything like that. Generally, the cleaners just kind of working their nuts off in there. I thought from pretty much any point a day when I visited most toilets, they were in really, really good order, and it looked like the cleaners were working really, really, really hard to keep them that way. So.
Yeah, didn't experience anything out of the ordinary. That isn't just normal festival, bad smells and gross bits, like, you don't look down kind of thing. But yeah, like nothing like outrageous.
Yeah, but I never went in the toilet and like found it like overflowing with shit
Yeah, you
or
had to leave.
like oh there's no toilet paper or anything like that.
Mm,
You know.
yeah,
That's
I
a good
agree.
point.
You got a good Dan?
Yes, how I don't know if this is not necessarily a Bloodstock, it's more a people thing, but I met so many really lovely people whilst I was there. I chatted to so like the most amount of people I've ever spoken to in like 4 days. Because whenever I was left to my own devices for like more than 10 seconds, I would walk up to any random person and start a
You in a band?
conversation. No, usually my opening line is like, I just like your shirt.
Ah,
But that does require me to actually like the shirt. I don't lie to people.
yeah, you can't say that. Oh, that's my favorite band, and then they'll be like, "Oh, name two songs."
Yeah.
Yeah, no, everyone I met was so lovely. Such a great atmosphere. Like wherever I went, whoever I spoke to.
No, I mean, I think that does work as boss because I got to say, like, a lot's not on mine. I'd say the overall vibe this year felt very friendly. It was nice. Even like again from the Serpent's Lair side of things, it was kind of chill and nice and friendly, meeting and talking to everyone in there, out and about. Never ran. I didn't run into any. I mean, like, well, I mean, actually saying I got one on the ugly of one thing I saw rather than, but I didn't deal with any particular melts, dickheads, bad behavior, poor security, anything like that. I got one sarcastic comment from a security guy all weekend, which I could have like snapped back at him, but I just didn't. Beyond that, though, the overall vibe was just friendly, and considering it's Sunday. And I've seen obviously criticism online towards security. It seems to be more in general, like from coming in via the main entrance, and it's mostly related to like the rules around what you can bring in more than anything else, and tipping out of water and things like that. But I don't necessarily think that's security's fault. I think that might be a Bloodstock fault, and obviously, ultimately, security are going to do what are going to do the rules, right? If the rules are nobody can bring anything in, the security are likely to just follow that to a T. There is a caveat to that. I can see, because there is
Yeah, I'm
something that
just
I
trying to
want to
make
talk
you.
about.
I'm just trying to, yeah, don't go too far on it because I've got stuff in bads and uglies on this stuff as well. So,
Yes, so do I. A particular point. Yeah, I think we might actually have a similar one. But so I'm just the
but it's
overall.
not an unfriendliness. That's the thing. None of the I didn't experience like where you're saying like generally people wise. I also didn't experience anything in anywhere close to negative. Experience some weirdness every now and then, but that's just there you go.
That's
But
alcohol and people in it.
it felt like a good vibe. It felt like every time, even if I was in a crowd that was pretty packed, it felt like there was a good vibe around it. A good buzz, especially during the headliners, where it was much more busy out on the main stage and you kind of were shoulder to shoulder at points. Generally, it felt like, oh, this is a nice, happy place. And
Agreed.
pretty much all bar one incident, but pretty much every employee or security person or whatever I ran into at different points there like the same as the bar staff, it was always friendly. Coming in and out of the VIP, there were a couple of guys that are on there quite regularly during the daytime who always sort of said hello and had a little chat and stuff like that. So for the staffing, the people working in, I know they're not all under like one sort of employer's umbrella or anything like that, but
Mm,
I thought generally we're very, very friendly and doing a good job.
we all concur. Okay, I'm in then. Sophie tent screens. I mean, Jesus, how long has it taken? I mean, be honest, if they hadn't brought them in, I wouldn't have really complained. Like, I wasn't asking for it, so to speak. But now it's there. All I see is a benefit. It comes with a drawback for the entrances and that, but that was always going to be a problem. And to be fair, people standing at the entrances to Sophie has been a common problem, full stop. So it's not really changed that in my eyes. But yeah, those screens in the Sophie tent, absolutely, yeah, massive benefit to the festival, I think.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. Being the husband to and father of short people, they're a bit of a godsend, to be honest with you. And it makes such a difference in there, it really does, because it does mean in those massive bands when you can't get too far in or you're right at the back, or even if you're just popping in, you've got a really, really good view. You
Yeah.
get to see some stuff. I'm surprised it wasn't something like, unless I just missed it, like, because it seems to me like to me, it's like quite a big deal. It's like, wow, that's a huge difference, and it's made a massive difference. But I don't remember hearing anything like kind of in an announcement saying, "Guess what, guys? We've now got screens on the Sophie stage."
Yeah, like you want to crow about what you're bringing in, because it's a
Yeah.
big fucking deal.
It's kind of cooler to be just like have them there, be
Yeah.
there.
Hmm.
Like,
I didn't even notice them for the first two bands. It was during All for Metal when I was like, "Are there screens? Were they there before?"
no, I noticed them. I noticed immediately because I always look at the like different icons they do. They
Mm.
usually have like two fuck off massive banners,
Yeah.
and I always
Yep.
look at the like motifs they do, and it wasn't there because there was a big fuck off screen in the way. Um, and yeah, it is great as a partner to somebody quite short. You could very rarely see things.
All right, you got one down. You're up.
Yeah, it's related to great incident that happened on the Friday, but the medical staff and EMTs were fucking on it. They were there, helping me so quickly, and they were lovely people as well. Um, they just really sorted me out. Uh, great job. I'm so like I feel good going in future knowing that if I get injured, then they're there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sad because obviously I ended up in the tent with you. Yeah, very polite, very nice, very knowledgeable. Which is what you want, of course, medical professionals to sound like they know what the hell they're doing. They put you at ease and with their confidence. So yeah, big up that. I'd like to never see them again, please, though. Yeah.
Yeah, ideally.
See you next
So
All right,
time.
lovely.
listen,
Please never come near me again.
I feel like I'm going to keep throwing at the obvious ones, but I can't believe no one said this yet. No fun fair.
Well,
Finally.
if somebody
Yeah.
gives me a go at some point, I will. All
All
I've
right,
done,
sorry.
all I've done is back up onto the ones you said about the people, and then I was like, I made a comment about it. We went to Dan.
All right, well, do you
You
want
want
to
to
take
know
no
what my
fun
next?
fair then?
Do you want to know what my next one was? And it was
What?
only because I was expecting you to come to me after the Sophie screen next, because it was you, me, then Dan, but you went
Okay.
straight to Dan. And because it was a Sophie thing, I was going to segue into talking about improvements within the Sophie stage. Not having the
Please.
fun fair grounds outside meant that during bands like, for example, Nail Bomb, and I'm sure, although I didn't try, I'm sure Static X was probably same, and probably
Mm.
Obituary as well. When you actually couldn't get in, not having the fun fair rides there meant that it was okay to stand on that outskirt bit, see it, and fucking hear it.
And not get blasted.
Yeah. So
Didn't feel like the festival missed it though, right?
I thought it was great them not being there. I mean within a very, very short period of time, I didn't even notice that they weren't there anymore. And then my experience was definitely not like hampered in some way by them not being there.
Mm.
It was improved generally. It was generally improved. And I've seen positive
Oh,
comments about them not being there as well. Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of people complaining that they weren't there.
yeah, that number's really people are sarcastically saying, "Oh, Mr. Bumper Cars," but I don't think anybody really does.
Nah, nah.
How actually like often do you see them running? Like, because most of the time it just sat still. I was gonna say I barely even noticed they were gone. I don't know
Mm.
if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I
Mm.
noticed the first time we walked out into the arena, I was like, oh yeah, because the market stalls can now have space to come out a little bit more, and there's more. Um, so I noticed that we had to walk a little bit further to the left to get round, and I was like, oh yeah.
Go on, then, Brennan. As I kind of t stole that one from you, you go for one.
Um, I mean, I've only really got a couple left to be honest with you, other than things that pop into my head. So I'll do
Mm.
an obvious one before I do like a more lighter one anyway. So for me, the chair zones and no chair zones were fantastic.
Mm.
I know that there were points where it got busy in the chair zone area because of the fact that chairs were allowed there. But you can't. What are you gonna do? With I thought the not having them in and around that kind of like main stage area was a real positive.
Yeah. Do you want to add to that, Dan?
Yeah, I agree. I saw I don't know if I mean it's chairs. I saw a couple people ignoring it at first. They put the big screen up. Everyone listened to it. That's pretty good. Um, I was certain that that chair free zone covered like all the way like around the main stage because people just
Mm.
saw the flags and then just ended up going behind it. And then the problem was is you ended up if you wanted to go behind the sound stage, you still ended up tripping on chairs or like trying to go get some food, and that created a bit of a mess. And people just sit there with their feet out. It's
I'm
frustrating,
gonna
but
stop you there. You,
the
you, you
update the
segued,
update
you
is good.
segued into negatives. Keep it on the positive because that could, yeah.
My finishing statement was that the change is good.
Yeah, I think we all agree in this. We've been calling, look, it was a regular part of our negative, the good, the bad, and the ugly for quite a few years. I'd have to go back and check a many times. But as we've been saying, we've been frustrated with a lot of this. I think Bloodstock's attempt to get it under control, I think they've got work still to be done here. We're talking about later, but their attempts to get in control are welcome. And we should praise the fact that they've tried to find a solution that benefits most people, or at least a decent amount of people. So let's not always be willing to slam festival organizers when they're trying to at least do something here. I know some people did not take kindly to what you could argue is the threat on the screens, basically saying remove them from the non-chair zone or it'll all be banned on Sunday. But hell, look, that's what it takes, people. Like, because the problem is if once one, two people start to disobey it, others are encouraged to do it, and suddenly we get nowhere and back to normality, and Bloodstock have failed, and they'll never be able to do it again. This was their first. They'd failed this time. They would never be able to really build upon this. It would have been immediately like, well, we'll have to go back to square one. So I don't having those threats pop up and scream. For someone who doesn't want to be tripping over chairs a couple of feet from the fucking stage, of course I want to see them telling you, like, basically, come on, man, we move them back. So yeah, I think we all agree. Good attempt.
You can only look at it year on year, right? This year versus last year, it was a huge improvement.
Yeah, there we go.
And generally you would imagine like I imagine that anyone offended by that threat is the person the threat's aimed at. So,
Mm.
if because the threat's only threatening the people who are outside of the chair zones, right? So you wouldn't be offended if it's come up on the screen. So if you've chosen to block your chair where you're not meant to, and a threat comes up and now you're offended, like
Yeah,
who's the dick here? The person threatening you or the person who ignored the fucking rule in the first place?
that's basically it, really, isn't it? All right, I'm going to go for an overarching one here. And really, it's just no welcome watch about VIP. And comes with a caveat because I am fully aware that each year prices increase. And uh, while it's not so much that I think things are getting worse, I don't, at least yet. I think that's a longer term thing as prices continue to increase. Jumped again this year. But I'd say VIP was as good as always. In the fact there was no major changes to camping or anything like that. It didn't feel oversold. We had space. We were able to move around. Serpent's Lair there were times when it felt chaotic, but there were times for the most part where it felt like there was a decent amount of seating and, like it never felt like, oh my God, there's so many people here. What the hell's the point of this? Things like that. What we had an offer in there in regards to VIP is mixed anyway, but for the most part, it all was exactly the same. Same amount of showers, same place for the water points, same number of toilets. Like it was all good. Like it was fine, no complaints, basically.
Yep, no complaints from me either. I guess if anything, I'm not speaking because I was involved in it, but I guess if I speak on behalf of some of the people that are with us, the only addition really in there was the ability to have a little spa treatment or a massage. Um, which, my missus and kid took part on the Thursday and
Yep.
both thought that was great and good value for money as well. So
You happy down with VIP?
Very. It was really great. I really enjoyed like the food places and the drink places in there that were. I feel bad for everyone else that doesn't get access to them, to be honest. Like,
no, don't.
okay.
Yeah, mate, because I swear to Christ, if this
That's
carries
why we
on,
pay.
VIP will be half the festival will be VIP and the other half won't.
So I'm saying we pay like £200 plus for access to those little bits on
Mm.
top.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a couple more points in the good, but a very sort of small one, so to speak. And then just a little bit about the press at the end, really specific. But so if anybody's got any little ones you want to throw
Yeah,
out,
I got a little one.
hmm,
But we'll start off with a joke, but I am joking because we joked about this at the festival, but I did actually think it was quite nice to see. So, as there are no crimes in the UK anymore, it was quite nice to see local police having, using some of that free time up to walk around, talk to people. I saw it in VIP. I don't know if it extended out of there. I'm assuming they were walking around other places as well.
ooh,
But we saw them in VIP. Talking to people, talked to my daughter for a period of time about, looking after your phone, handing out I don't know what you call them, but like kind of springy lanyards that you can connect to your phone and to your belt loop.
yep,
So that, your phone's constantly connected to you, and also handing out little RFID blockers that you can just keep in your wallet that prevent people from scanning things. So I just thought that was a nice thing. I think it's a good idea. We get a lot of, or historically, there's been talk of a lot of pickpockets and theft like that in general at Bloodstock. So I know this is probably as much. Oh, I don't know how much the festivals like involved in this.
mm,
Maybe they arrange it, maybe they just ask if the police can come, and I don't know, whatever it is. But I thought, why not educate some of the young people about being a bit more cautious about your property while you're there? And yeah, so I thought that was a nice thing. And I also like the little joke about, you know, being no,
cool.
It was very good. You got a chocolate
I,
on me.
I remember when we saw them, you and me, Brendan, were sitting together,
yeah.
and we were very sarcastic about it together. So, like,
Yeah,
yeah,
we don't mean
let's not
it. We
forget.
don't. No, no, no. Absolutely. That's why I said, like, I know we were taking the piss out of it. We were like, oh,
Yeah.
what are they handing out? Visas, you know.
And it's because I've got a beat on my bum about the police these days as well. Like it was immediately like, well,
Listen,
what the hell are they doing here? Go out and solve a crime.
listen to body count too much these days, man.
Yeah, man, that's what it is. Okay. What we got? Mine's more general. It's just like, overall, just getting the opportunity to hang out with, friends, family. Our group was having a lot of fun together this year. We've got band friends now and people we've been hanging out with over the years, press friends, just friends in general. It's very much feels like Bloodstock because often starts to feel like a bit of a reunion, you know, uh, now, and I love that, so it's
Yeah,
just a general one.
absolutely. Yeah, and I agree wholeheartedly with that as well. And also because, you know, it's one of the few times in my life where I get to look cool for my daughter when bands that she likes, people are approachable to her, friendly to her. So when you're talking about like guys from Ghost of Atlantis, Raised by Owls guys, like all of these people just like ready to mosh people like Ward 16, just coming up talking to her through us. And then not just me, like you guys as well, but like it's the one few time where you can have a teenage daughter and she's looking at you and going, "Wow, my uncles, my cousins, my dad are actually pretty cool for one weekend." And then we're not cool again, but
You got any small ones, Dan?
I do not. My list is over.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned Raised by Owls though, because while I didn't experience, I know a couple of our people had a lot of fun at the quiz thing they hosted on Sunday, and then afterwards, they very graciously took some pictures with your daughter Brendan, of course, as well. That look amazing, and it just kind of like reaffirms that bands like that not only are they accessible because they're just hanging out amongst us plebs, but that they're also just nice people.
yeah. And one of the highlights of that whole thing for me will be watching the look of confusion on the band's face when Rose had to go up to accept a can of top Boddingtons
Yeah,
for
yeah,
third prize.
Boddingtons.
And as they went to hand it over, we're like, "Oh shit, it's a kid. What do we do?"
Whoa. Can we just
Got
give
that.
alcohol to a child?
Yeah,
Yeah.
did quickly run up, but it was very funny when they turned around with it and we're like, "Ah,
In all my years of Bloodstock, I've never visited Fat Frank's. Obviously, it's famous, but I've never been there until I needed to go there at stupid o'clock. And I mean stupid o'clock. I swear it was, I feel like it was 3 in the morning, but it was probably more like 11:30 at night. But it felt like stupid o'clock to get batteries. And I walked in and it's like a fucking warehouse. And yeah, they had batteries. I was able to buy like 4 packs of AA batteries, which was needed at the time. I'll get into that in the bad. But yeah, yeah, so it's just like, oh wow. And like it almost made me want to walk around like a fucking like I'd walked into an IKEA or like a goddamn, you go to a massive B&Q and you just get drawn in by new fucking kitchens and things you can't. It felt like I'd walked into one of them, you know?
yes." We saw you coming back to VIP with arms of wallpaper and paintbrushes. Like, "Oh, look what I got."
Just Fat Frank's had it, but yes, it's the first time I'd ever been in it. Being it's over in the the normal camping. I've never seen the inside of it, but yeah, it turns out it's good. Might be more useful than we think.
Yeah, yeah, I've never been in it either.
My last section are all press related. So if you've got any more, Brendan.
Nope, I have no more on my list.
Okay, well, so press area as always, nothing major changes here. Felt busier this year, but for the most part, particularly after a day, I think at first day everyone was a bit nervous, and no one really was willing to kind of sort of say, "Hey, can you move over a bit? You're not using your space, can I use it?" and stuff like that. By the second day, it got a lot better, and it was kind of like getting everyone felt like it was getting a bit more comfortable around each other. It's a bit of a dog eat world when it comes to like space there. And I'm going to put mostly because there's a negative side to it, which it's not in the bad or the ugly, but it's just worth mentioning that some outlets, no names mentioned, just decide to put their tripods up, walk away, and leave it there for an hour, which is just bang out of order. We've actually complained about this in the past. We're not ones to go to, to the bosses behind the desk in the press tent and say, whatever, because, who are we in the grand scheme of things? But it is very, very irritating when you're looking around for just a spot and, the rest, that kind of thing. But hey ho, mostly everyone was really great. The people I spoke to from the press side of things, and it was awesome to talk to a few more people this year than we normally do. We're very much, if you know us, you've seen us, we're in and out. We go in, we set up, and we tend to just bosh through them as in a decent amount of time. And then the moment we finish, we tend to just pack up and go. Like, Jim, it's not really a scene where both too socially anxious. Well, all three of us, I think, these days, particularly as Dan's more involved than ever, but all too socially anxious to kind of like go into the press tent and try and rub shoulders with people who, let's be honest, probably don't have much interest in talking to us anyway. So it's kind of just like we get in, we get out, and like that part of it works for us in I think a positive way. But for me, the press area, all of that, it was normal. It was comfortable. I don't feel out of place or weird, and it was good to kind of do it like how we normally do it. But with that, obviously, that involves us rolling into this next one, dealing with a cacophony, a group of different press outlets, PR companies, labels, and all the kind of people we have to deal with every year when it comes to these interviews. Now, we've had mixed bags this year. Mostly, I'd say very good ones, but there's always been times where we've not been able to find someone, or banners just turned up, and we found out later, though, this is why. A press contact's just not there or reachable, all these things. This year, we had none of that. Like, we had none of that. And that was incredible and testament to even the bands as well, who were all early or waiting around for some stuff like that. Everyone was, I mean, generally brilliant. I can't praise everyone who were involved with there. And it might seem wrong for me to do this, but I am going to name drop one, who is the legend of Bloodstock Press. And we all know who I'm talking about. It is Dan Carter of DC Sound Attack. There is no one who is more organized, more on it, more brilliant at what he does, what his company does in this. We looked when we realized who our interviews were with, and we were like, we got no worries here. We knew we weren't going to have to be looking around, wondering where his bands were or whatever. It's simply a phenomenal credit. Is a credit to the industry and what he does. And I can't praise DC Sound. And not that, like I said, I don't want to kind of force more work upon the company because at all, of course, but I would suggest if you are ever interested in needing some press needs, whether it be for a festival or something else, look up DC Sound Attack. We generally can vouch for them. And this isn't the first year. That's the thing. It's not, it's every freaking year. And it's not just Dan as well, of course. There are so many others involved in that that when we've been involved in have been nothing but brilliant as well. But yeah, that's why I'm naming one. But everybody was brilliant. Did you find the same, guys? You found everyone to be bands and like press?
Yeah, I mean, I thought, I mean, I second everything that you said, including, calling out DC Sound Attack in particular, who, yeah, everything you said, madly organized. So, very, very professional, but also very, very passionate about it as well, which is cool. But generally, it felt like this year, like maybe in previous years, we'd always like between us kind of spoken about like the amount of bands that come there without PR you know. And because of that, it's like we're trying to contact the band directly and all that. And it felt like this year, at least in the bands that we were talking to, that and a lot of bands on the New Blood stage as well had been sensible and reached out and got themselves some PR representation there,
Mm.
And that also helped to just make things work a lot smoother because, you're not trying to call somebody who's smashed in Midgard, that it's time for his interview. You're talking to the PR people, and I guess they're doing that bit for us in the background. Everyone
Yeah.
seemed to be on time. Everything seemed to go smoothly. Bands interviewed well. I don't think there were car crashes or anything like that in it. It felt comfortable and it felt good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
agreed.
it's only my second year doing the media, the bit. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. The security in and out. There was one guy that was really, really lovely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
young guy. Yeah,
yeah,
Mm.
yeah, he was
lovely guy.
fantastic. Always smiled on the way in. Was made a little joke because I was constantly in and out.
I can second the thing on being too nervous to go inside that tent. I poked my head in at one time, but it's still like even though I know I'm allowed in there, it doesn't feel like I am.
Yeah. It's because we don't do anything on site. We don't sit down with computers. Like, we don't sit down and start uploading stuff immediately. And we can do all our equipment remotely. We don't have to have anything connected up to anything. So there's absolutely no reason to be taking up space and going in there anyway, truth be told. So I'm more than happy to have it that way. But I'm glad Brendan mentioned, every band being interviewed. I don't think of any car crashes. We had a few teething problems here and there. We'll get into a bigger one. And talking of that, obviously on Sunday, it's no secret, although it's for bad more than anything else, we had some issues that meant we basically cancel a number of interviews. Now, thankfully, we didn't have loads on Sunday, but big up the press guys and everyone who are also really nice about the fact that I was just like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And they were just like, no, it's cool. Don't worry about it and stuff like that. So, yeah. But on that, this isn't the good. And this is going to seem like a weird one because it's going to kind of wrap up the good before we move to the bad. Um, for me, maybe it is just me, but I think Brendan maybe more than Dan might be able to concur with this because Brendan's been doing it as long as I've been doing it. which is basically us realizing that we need a year off, a legitimate year off from doing press at Bloodstock, at least a year off. I think we realized that this year quite early on that we needed to kind of just go and just experience. And we probably should have done it this year, if I'm being honest. We appreciate it and we hope we didn't let anybody down, but we probably should have done it this year. But we didn't, but we will be next year. And just it felt good. Like it's weird because like that's sort of it was so weird for me to kind of have that feeling, but it felt good to admit that to myself and say, you know what, dude, you just need to have a year off. And I spoke to Brendan about it, and because like if someone's get a bit like this, I'm sure you're probably thinking, well, in 6 months' time he'll change his mind. But it's like every time I remind myself, I say to myself, yeah, like I get this happy feeling inside my chest, and I think that's quite an important thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm not going to pretend that I haven't thought in my head like don't go too committed one way or the other on this in case Carl changes his mind, because I'll happily support if you just chose to go and do it again, and if you choose like if we're not doing it, that's also absolutely cool with me. I completely get like needing to hit year off every now and then. Um, there are elements to the whole press thing there that when we say that we wouldn't we have a year off, like the thing is all that really means for us is that we wouldn't necessarily interview that year. We
Exactly.
would still do all the pre-work, the previews, the videos
Hmm.
talking about
Oh
what we're
yeah.
excited about. We would still be recording footage all day, every day, doing this chat now in a year's
Yeah.
time. So the only bit that we would actually take out of it would be the time
Interviews.
pressured 10-minute interviews, which are often, but not always, but often bands that you may have interviewed before or could interview on a Zoom call or whatever it might be, which will be an in-depth 30, 40, 50, sometimes longer, depending on how chatty the band are interview,
Mm.
where we really get an opportunity to promote them. So there's a small element of me that says, is that 10-minute interview we do for the band there, like, what does that do for them or us?
Mm.
You know, but yeah, so I support not doing it, but I guess it's just adding in the fact that that doesn't mean that we're you know going to Midgard and going to be doing drugs till 3 in the morning. We'll still be doing all the stuff you normally see, just without the press area.
I just want to see more bands. That's all it is. I can't spend hours every day in those damn tent or
Yeah.
outside that tent. Okay, let's move to the bad then, folks. We've done some good stuff, so let's move to the bad. Who wants to get started?
I don't mind.
Go.
I do the same one that I do every single fucking time, every single year, and they'll never listen because they obviously know better than me and everybody else who says the same thing every year. Merch queues, merch signage, merch fucking everything. And like, I don't understand why they can't see that this just does not work. They need to, I don't know what it is. You either separate smaller band stuff from bigger band stuff, or you separate official merch, like Bloodstock merch, from band merch, because you're hurting the bands. I mean, you're the
Mm.
champions of underground metal in the UK and all that, like all the slogans and everything like that. But if I just seen a band in the New Blood stage, like, and I'm like, oh, I don't know who they are, but they were really cool. I'll go and get a shirt. I walk out. There's a 2 hour long queue for me to get to the front to get it, and it's mostly full of people buying Bloodstock t-shirts, and mostly full of people who, when they get to the front, get told they haven't even got the fucking Bloodstock t-shirts that they want. So I don't know. I feel like that it's an every year thing for me, but it irritates the hell out of me, man. Just it's easy to fix. I know there's not like an extra massive pitch you can do, but I've said every year you've got half of a New Blood tent or a quarter of a New Blood tent that's fucking empty. Let the bands put some tables up there and sell their own merchandise.
Yeah.
I honestly, even that area behind the New Blood, the Slam Dunk Festival do this thing where they have like a artist like merch tent, and you can
Yep.
walk around in like a semicircle. It's got one entrance, one exit. You walk around, do all the tables, and throughout the day, bands switch out, and every band gets a chance to put up their merch and sell it themselves with their own merch people through their own like stuff. Because I learned something from one of my mates' bands. Uh, if you're a New Blood band, you have to pay to have your merch up.
Hmm.
You have to pay them £35. And I don't think that echoes at all the whole. We're for the small bands, because the first thing you do is you take money from them just to have their money up, yeah, merch up there. And then they're also taking a commission on like the merch is sold because they've obviously, I guess, they got to staff it themselves, and that
Mm.
that is solved by letting the band sell their own merch. I think
Yeah.
it's a really poor system. I think that smaller bands are not represented well enough because it's not like their stuff's up at the top. You have to get to the front first of that 2 hour queue to see if they've even got anything up. Like, I think it's a how it works currently is horrible.
I think it's the first one I write down as well, folks. Of course, it's in fact I think it's worse than it ever was. There were so many times where I looked at that old merch queue and I went, "What the fuck's even going on here?" And it feels like Bloodstock's just being stubborn about this now because we're not alone in this anymore. Now we might have different ways of operating. We used to argue constantly for them to put what Dan described, but somewhere in the sort of shop area. Put it there, put it somewhere like that. And they had ample, now they had no fun fairs. They had room to put something there, and they still didn't. It's the same system that also blocks up space by the fucking Sophie stage, the main stage as well, with all the long queues. Like, it just like it actually is infuriating. It feels like it's just being stubborn now, where it's just like, oh well, it'll take work to change this, and it's like put the work in, guys. Like here's the opportunity. Not that I'm like guys that are watching this. If by chance they were and were listening to this, you're about to sell at 2026 probably at record time, which is going to give you a lot of time to start thinking about logistics and other things you could perhaps do to just make the festival a little bit different, a little bit maybe like, different sort of touches you can do here and there. This is a big one for everyone. I think the best way, because we're not going to get what we want down, which is the big merch hall, that kind of thing. We're not going to get there. We're not even going to get a store. I think it has to be a separation. And that one that we all know is just Bloodstock and maybe the main headliners. But like New Blood EMP have to be given a space elsewhere. And that fucking that corner in the New Blood tent where nobody goes, a couple of tables. I mean, good God, 2 hour rotation. That's it. You get 2 hours on it and then out you get. I mean, come on, Bloodstock.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you could even like because once you're in there, you've got like the kind of gateways when the curtains open, which is on the other side. There's like empty space behind that. You could put all their merch down there, and they could sell it to us over the barrier.
Jesus. We feel like this is easy,
At the
but it
end of
feels
the day,
like,
like if they
yeah.
make money off a commission, then they're going to make more money off of the band selling more shirts if we can actually get to the fucking shirts.
I remember the days we used to come back with fucking hundreds of pounds of merch.
Yeah,
Hundreds.
I bought 0 band t-shirts this year.
We got one, and we went a really lucky time. I think August Burns Red was still on the main stage, and we just walked straight up to the front. We got a monochrome t-shirt. Big up monochrome.
I think Nick got me a Macare t-shirt, so that's my one.
Yeah, and I got
Speaking
Rogue and
of
Machine
merch,
Head
though,
one, but yeah.
speaking of merch, Bloodstock, you should be embarrassed. And I can't believe they haven't sort of put out a statement sort of saying, look, we're sorry about this. The company we used this time was bad and we'll never use them again. That Bloodstock beer cup is just like, honestly, and I don't care that it was only £4. I've seen the defense of that. Well, it was only £4 instead of 6. Oh, wow. But you did not know how bad it was until you got it. Like, honestly, but folks, if you don't know what we're talking about, is the regularly sold Bloodstock beer cups. Everybody wants one. They're branded with the lineup and stuff like this. This year, not only does it look really poorly printed, most of the print, a larger part of the print is already coming off immediately. Put it this way, when you get to washing this thing, it ain't gonna last. So there's that. So yeah, for shame, Bloodstock.
Display cups this year.
Yep. I have got the same one down, and I think I was like the reason the cups are cheaper is it's got to be cheaper because Bloodstock have asked for a cheaper build. I mean, that's why
Mm.
you're able your cost of cup was cheaper, so you can sell it cheaper. It's not the same quality, so yeah, it was pretty
Is
poor.
is that £2 really making the difference to have a cup that has the print on it or off it?
The thing is, I'd pay the £6 for a well, we have previously every year, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It hasn't really been a thing like for it to be well printed. So if you pay £6 for a well printed cup that you still got the print on it, like I'm sure many of our cups do from 4 or 5 years ago.
Mm.
Or I pay
Yeah.
£4 for a cup that's going to be a blank fucking plastic cup in a year's time.
I don't even think you get a year out of it, mate.
No, I mean if I put it in a one of those oxygen cases like with no air, no nothing like that, it might last a year.
Last.
I've got one from 2021 that still looks fucking like
Yeah.
perfect. It looks
I've
brand new.
got I've got stuff all the way dating back to 2014. 2014. Yeah, we checked. Like, I
All
think when
right,
we were.
mate. All right. No, I'm
Yeah,
joking.
no, but they're still. I've got ones from Hellfest that are still like good
Mm.
shape. But anyway, go on, Dan. You got one. Your turn.
Uh, we dipped into it a little bit earlier, but the chairs being fucking up to the food stands. I think it
Yeah.
needs to be a whole area. Just look. I know there's going to be some people up in arms about this, but do the European festival thing. No chairs. And then I think, but also in conjunction, I saw the disabled platforms. Most of them were empty the whole weekend. Like, I think, and I understand that there's an accreditation process there, and it
Yeah.
must be quite difficult to be proved, like, to prove yourself as disabled. Um, they need to open that up, um, because they were empty. I understand there's definitely a fine
Mm.
line with it, and I couldn't decide on what that line is. Um, but there needs to be some kind of fix for it because either people are going to keep ignoring it and just keep sitting in front of the main stage all day, um, or they're not going to be allowed to.
Right. So I'm going to jump in here as well, and I'm going to use Paleface Swiss as a good example. So you were described it right. It's kind of like a semicircle around the main stage now, the chairs. So you get like half soundstage, half. So you basically have that because obviously people aren't sitting directly behind the soundstage. And then you've got rows and rows and rows of chairs going back quite close to the food store. Depending on the band, it could be quite busy. Obviously, I get a texture and Paleface that I then had to kind of rush and leave. Now I can't just cut through the fucking crowd. I'm over on the left side facing the stage. Going through the middle is going to be disaster for me. Not only do I have a bag on me, but also people are packed in. They're not going to want me just squeezing past them, and I'm likely to end up in a pit. So I have to go out and around like we normally do. We walk far around, and that's where I ran into the problem. And it is slow moving queues of people having to walk between rows of chairs again. And it's just rows and rows and rows of chairs again. Just in it might be further back and that is a positive, but it's still just rows and rows of chairs. And it's kind of like I ended up being like, excuse me, and sort of having to kind of push slightly past people. I'm trying to get over to a kind of medical. Now, fair enough, it's a different example of like where I'm trying to rush around a festival. But I remember just thinking, oh, this is no better. Obviously, it is. I know it is. I'm not saying it, but it's just the sort of the thing that I think's bad nonetheless, and it's still a problem that eventually. Because again, like where do you draw the line? How far back do those chairs go? And to what point does it become like again, just like a mini auditorium of rows and rows of chairs that people are forced to slowly walk between back and forth, and then there's no two-way traffic because the chairs are so tight to each other that it's like trying to leave a theatre almost. That's the only thing I kind of got a vibe of. Now, overall, I still don't think it was as bad, or certainly as bad as it's previously been. I stand by that statement. I really don't. But when I was trying to rush, I felt like, oh, this is not good, you know?
I also felt though that it improved after Friday
Mm,
because there was a lot of talk, and actually I saw it myself of when we went in there on Saturday, somebody had been in overnight and had drawn out chalk outlined of where the chairs can be. So
yeah.
initially, when you went in there on the Thursday and Friday, the marking only said no chairs beyond this point. So people use that as the point of creating a semicircle. When you went in there on Saturday, there was a backward point of a chalk line and boxes saying no chairs past this point. So Paleface
Mm,
Swiss was a Friday, a lot of other things on Friday. I'm not saying it was
interesting.
perfect by Saturday or Sunday, but also I get the impression from that and from the sign which went up on the stage, I think on the Saturday,
Mm.
if I remember
Yeah, it
correctly,
was. Yeah, because they're going to ban it for Sunday, weren't they? Yeah.
that whatever they done Thursday, Friday, they had realized wasn't working the way they thought it should, and had at least tried to action something by let's draw some outlines to make sure that the chairs are in boxes rather than just not beyond this point, which means you're technically not breaking the rules if you pitch them straight outside the food shop, you know,
Yeah.
and then following it up with the sign. So I thought Friday was worse and it got better. But it depends on where you walk as well. Like, there was a points where sometimes have to do like quite a wide arch to avoid them.
Yeah.
Um, but it's not even just those chairs, right? Like, I mean, when a big band is on, when a band that's pulled a crowd is on, like even I can't remember, I don't know what the tent is, but there's a tented area at the back which has a bar there, but I don't know remember what the bar is. Like, it could be a
Oh, the Southern Comfort one or something like that,
yeah.
right?
And there's some wooden sort of bench tables and stuff outside that. And obviously then people kind of mill around there. And even just trying to come through there, you're stepping over tent pegs and you're like, there's no like I can't get through. If you then back that up, because I'm gonna go back to queues again, with
Yeah.
say the queue from the merch coming down, but then also say queues from water points coming up. There are just natural choke points on this whole thing, and then there are lines of queues coming from different things, like people trying to get water, people trying to get merch, people trying to get food, that then just create these kind of lines through the chalk points to just make everything even that much harder. And like if you're standing in a queue for water, merch, whatever it is, people get quite pissy about you needing to walk through them.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I
really weird.
noticed
It's
that a
like, what
couple
would
of
you like me to
times.
do? Just wait here until the whole queue's gone past one by one?
Yeah,
Like, can I just get through? And people are like, oh God.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
sorry.
I found out at its worst between. I found it at its worst by the water point by New Blood.
Yeah,
Yeah, people always kept giving me dirty looks trying to get through.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, what should we do? Right, I'm going to jump to a VIP specific one. So there's the VIP coffee place. For stars, got to say, no monkshood. That's sad. Those people with their smiles and good coffee was missed. This isn't a rundown of the quality of the coffee in this new coffee place. It was fine and had big queues each day. However, the first day chaos. So, oh my God! Now I did see they changed the system, but whatever they were thinking did not work. So. I went there, I think it was Friday morning. And if you remember, I came back with 4 cups that morning, two Americanos, a cappuccino, and loose drink. But so I'd got there and I ordered, and he wrote my order down, and I put my hand out expecting to be given a slip of paper, which had a number on it, but no, nothing. And I was like, oh, okay. And it's probably about 20 people waiting for their drinks. They weren't particularly quick either. And I'm like, oh, okay, what do I do? Just stand there? Okay, maybe they'll call out something down, be like, oh, the 4 drinks together. And next thing you know, they're just going, oh, Americano. And there's 20 people waiting for fucking Americano. So like nobody's getting ordered, and basically I ended up getting my 4 drinks. There were people there who had been waiting a lot longer. One was waiting for espresso and was starting to get pissy. I got all 4 of my drinks, even though I just got served, because when she was like Americano, cappuccino, I just went, all right. And next thing you know, I'm getting all my drinks. There was no organization. It was chaos. I could see people's faces when it clearly were like, when I get my drinks. And it's like, well, none of you are stepping forward. They're not specifying whose drinks are what. They're just like, you can't just hold a coffee cup and be like, who wants cappuccino when there's 20 people waiting for that? Potentially 10 of them have ordered cappuccinos. And then later, when we were there, later on, I think we were getting a drink, and I noticed someone was holding a slip of paper in the coffee place. And I was like, someone who finally realized they need to give at least a fucking ticket and say number 27. Do you know what I mean? Like something to do that. It was awful. Like, and it made me think, oh my God, Moxon like need to come back because this is not going to work. But that was it. I think it got better after that. But on that first morning, I thought, oh my God, how bad is this? But tying into that, Lou had a horrible experience at a donuts and coffee place where she would get some coffee, and a member of staff there wasn't just rude to her, but was rude to many people and was called out by her. And actually, according to Lou, answered that person with, "Well, you shouldn't have come to this stall." And that's staggeringly hilarious. I wish I'd been there for it, but yeah, that's just a crappy little vendor one for you. But yeah, that's my coffee one. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't use it, but it sounds amateurish, to be honest with you,
Mm.
there. I don't know, like, was the one in there part of this sort of new Gregory coffee chain, and for
Yeah.
like keeping it in the family sort of thing?
I do think there's a possibility. I was wondering if, like, I would like to know, did Moxon get told they couldn't come back? E.g., the Gregory coffee place was going to take over it,
Yeah,
you know?
or did they replace it because Knoxford didn't want to come potentially?
Mm.
Who knows? Who knows? But just on the coffee then. So I didn't drink coffee from there, so I've no judgment of it. I did really appreciate the fact that we got bags of beans in the VIP, so that's kind of cool. Although I haven't actually tried them yet, so we'll see how that goes. But because of the time that I get out of bed generally, I usually have my coffee 2 hours before that place, or before I'm allowed in there to get coffee. So that means I'm forced to drink coffee from the one within the VIP campsite,
Right.
which I can
Stop calling it coffee.
yeah, well, I mean, I can categorically say it's the worst coffee experience I've had, um, probably in my life. It wasn't coffee, and also like how can you run a professional sort of catering van and like the only thing you've got is a kettle? I was like, so I went up there, and the first thing I asked for on the first day was like, because I didn't look or anything like that. I was just like, you just assume like you're a professional place, right? You can make a fucking coffee. So I asked them if I could have a latte, and they were like, no, we just do coffee. And I was like, latte is a coffee, is what I said back. And she was like, no, we just do coffee. And then she put a kettle on, and I'd stand there and wait for the kettle to boil. And then yeah, they got the little paper cup, put one small teaspoon of coffee granules in it, and then boiling water, and that was my
Wait,
coffee.
it wasn't even like an industrial catering style,
Oh, the
like.
fucking kettle. No, sorry. On that first day, when you went in the morning, because there was points where if you go too early in the morning, they're waiting for the water to heat up. So there was a
Oh,
big vat of hot water there that then later in the day they were just, there's your
do
mildly hot
that,
water.
yeah.
But if you went over there first thing in the morning, as they just opened the shutters, they had a kettle. And I was just like, oh man, and it was just muddy water. That was all it was, brown water. Fucking horrible. And there's nowhere else I can go. Unless I bring my own shit and go and sit at the sandbox, play with the kids, building sandcastles and making coffee or whatever the fuck you do over there. um, my options, because although to be fair, people did actually ignore a lot of this year, because maybe I'll go back to making it at the campsite. A
Mm,
lot of people were making drinks at the campsite because you can't go anywhere else. I can't get in. You're not allowed to walk through the arena. I'm not allowed to walk into another campsite where maybe they got better coffees or anything like that. They're like they've locked
yeah.
me in there.
Yeah,
Said you
you're
must
locked
stay
in.
here, and if you want a coffee, you must drink that. And
I
I'm
forget
saying
you
no,
can't
but I
even
don't
cut
want
through.
to drink
Yeah,
that. Please
you
don't
can't even
make
cut
me.
through Serpent's Lair to walk over to Midgard and maybe see what's going on in a better coffee place over there. You ain't got a choice. I mean, I guess you'd have to walk out of. No, you probably wouldn't be able to do that either. Walk out of Serpent's Lair via the car park to the road. They weren't going to let you do
That's
that.
what I'm saying. I don't even think you'd be able to do it because I still have to get to another
Yeah,
campsite then. So I think you are like this is what
you are
you've got.
trapped
Like yeah, you're either like it or don't have it. And I guess that's the
next to
argument.
you.
I could
Really,
choose not to have it, but I'm
need
a coffee drinker,
something.
man. When you wake up in the morning, you've been up for a little bit. I've had my shower and everything like that. The next thing I want is a bite to eat and a coffee.
Yeah, I think next year you need to revert back to making your own. Try to make your own in the morning because I had one cup of that coffee. I had one mouthful. £3, people. I mean, it's not worth 3p.
£3 for boiling water.
Dan, you got or anybody else? Either of you, I suppose.
I do. That whatever the food place in the VIP camping site was this year,
Mm.
absolutely fucking abhorrent. I don't know if that's the place you went for your coffee,
Yeah,
but
this is it.
oh yeah, okay, same place then. Fuck this place. I bought a breakfast roll or something. The lady that worked there was so rude to me because she asked if I wanted tomatoes, beans, and mushrooms, and I said no mushrooms, no tomatoes. Um, and I watched her take the ladle out of the pot of mushrooms and put it in with the tomatoes and beans, which is it's like if I'd been allergic to mushrooms,
Yeah,
and I just said
cross-contamination.
no, that's horror. I don't even want the creepy mushroom juice on my fucking the rest of my shit. Um, let alone
Don't be slamming mushrooms in this, man. Don't be going
I
on a
am.
mushroom
No,
slam.
fuck mushrooms.
Right.
No, but as she handed me this breakfast roll, the sausage that was on top of it fell off, and she just looked at it and went, "Oh, didn't give me a new one." I was like, uh, this was after being like, because I ummed and ahed about if I wanted tomatoes, and she said it, repeated it, but slowly to me, like I was stupid. She went, "Do you want tomatoes?" I was like,
She's
first thing
probably
in the
been dealing
morning.
with absolute drunking idiots, or like so you're probably thinking
It
you're
was
absolutely.
it was 9 in the morning.
It's Bloodstock, mate. It'll have been one.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
yeah, no, that place was not on form.
yeah, I think like it's just sometimes it's different experience at different time. I only ever had bacon rolls from there, and they were absolutely fine. I know Nick was eating the baps and breakfast baps and stuff like
Oh
that from
yeah,
there occasionally
yeah.
as well. And I know he got on all right with them, but I think he was having everything on them, so it's probably a bit easier than it. But I know that the very first, I think I said when I was there, the very first order I did there, I walked up and I said, "Can I have a bacon roll and a coffee?" Sorry, that's when I said a bacon roll and a latte. And then they looked at me for a while, and then they went and spoke to each other in a corner, and I was like, "What's going on, man? Like, what's happening?" And then one of them had to come over to me and explain to me that they don't do burgers in the morning, and I was like, "Oh no, I don't want a burger." And I was like, "I only asked for a bacon roll." So she was like, "Oh, okay." And then as she was putting the bacon roll together, she kept talking to me, she's going, "It's just too much in the morning." And I was like, "No, I didn't ask for it. Like, I wasn't asking for it." Then she
I
gave me the
remember you
bacon
told me about
roll,
this
and
at
then
the
I was at the stand
weekend.
there, and I was like, Where's my coffee?" You know. So the first order, like bacon roll and a coffee, I got no coffee, and I got offered a burger, or not offered a burger. That was the
I wish
very
we were,
first morning.
I wish we could remember the name of this place because I think it's in all seriousness actually isn't simply good enough. We very rarely actually get decent ones for some reason. Why can't we have a decent food place in the actual VIP campsite? Why are we having one of these old school nobody gives a shit piled up burnt bacon, dry bat rolls that cost too much money, shitty coffee. Why can't it be a half decent place? Why, like, Jimmy? Why are we like what? It wasn't good. Basically, what we're all saying. You
Yeah,
know?
I agree. It was
Okay,
terrible.
I'm gonna. No, I think you might. Let's see if you've got this one. But you ready? You go. I think you got to go next anyway. Actually, yeah.
Um, okay, so which one should I go with? I've got about six on here that just keep me repeating arguments about the queues. I'll drop the queue in for a minute. All right, so I'm gonna go for one which is just on the rules about bringing fluid from the campsite into Serpent's Lair.
Right.
And
I've got this one,
a
folks. Come
rule
on,
a
Brennan.
rule is a rule, and if there's a rule in place and that rule is published and we all know that rule, and then it's kind of on us. But it is extremely inconsistent. Like madly. Like sometimes they prevent you from bringing water in, even if it's in a sealed bottle. Sometimes they like just walk in with a can of fucking, you know, Black Heart in my hand and nobody gives a fuck. Then the next minute I'm coming through and they're going like, you've got a drain of drink in your glass. You've got to pour that out. I think one time we were actually, to be fair, they were nice about it this time. They just said, like, you guys can't come through with those drinks. And this was only because we only tried because we'd consistently been going through with drinks in hand. So we were like, oh, they don't seem to care this year. And then one time we got there and they were like, whoa, 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 you can't come through with these. At this point, it was particularly annoying because the drink had been purchased at their bar. I'd walked back to the campsite to get something for Rose. We'd walked back and my pint was still pretty much full. And they said, like, you got to pour it away if you want to come in. And I was like, I just bought that from there 5 minutes ago for like whatever, 8 quid or some 7 quid or whatever it was. I was like, I'm not pouring it away. So he was like, oh, what you could do is if you want, you can walk all the way round to the accessibility entrance and that way you can drink it on the way, but you got to finish it by the time you get there. So at least he was kind of cool about giving you a tip, but it just
Mm.
left me confused, man. What's the rule?
They had it on Thursday, Friday. They didn't give a shit. Saturday they cared for a little bit, and then
Sunday they
Sunday
did
they
not
didn't. They
care
went
at
back
all.
to
Yeah.
not giving a shit. Um,
Yeah, I've got this as well. I put it as confusing rules around drinks being brought into VIP Serpent's Lair in particular. I know it also affected the other parts of the festival as well. It was very, very, it wasn't even inconsistent. It went from free for all. We were walking with cans of Camden Hells in our hand, to then being told I had to pour out half a bottle of water. Like it was insane. And then near the end, remember we were walking up towards on the Sunday. I think we were like we had cans in our hand. I think with Red Bull. We were like,
Yeah.
oh, we're gonna throw it away. And they were like, oh fuck it, let's see what happens. Just walk straight in. Nobody cared again. And it's infuriating. Basically, the rule's always been it's been more regular that we kind of had to throw. We basically had to sneak drinks in if we wanted. You put a can in your pocket. We use a hip flask and stuff like that. That's what we expected. But the fact that the first 2 days, Thursday and Friday, we were just walking in with cans and nobody cared. And then suddenly everybody did. It was very, very weird, very, very strange. Yeah, and it started to make you wonder, like, okay, is it a specific person? This, that, whatever, that kind of thing, Um, on that though, as well, I think security at times in regards to wristbands were way too lax. Now around Serpent's Lair VIP, it seemed to be okay. Near the end on the Sunday, the guys at the one coming from the arena in, I think were just tired. So we're kind of just like glancing. But at the campsite,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure anybody could have walked in. Like I would actively make a point at the end. We were doing it on purpose, and like you would have some security whose eyes were like, did we doing that thing where they're like, don't even want to look. And it's like, dude, just at least fucking check the wristband. He can say it's something, who cares, right? And it's not that big of a deal, the campsite part of thing, of course. But it's like you want to feel safe. And part of that comes from knowing security is checking wristbands. Nothing infuriates me more than the idea that I sound and like, oh, whatever, so look at you. But nothing infuriates me more that I would have paid X amount of hundreds of pounds to do Serpent's Lair VIP and basically security deciding not to give a fuck meant anybody else could join. I will never forget this story's off topic, right? There was a cinema that did this thing where it was like I can't remember what it was down by North Greenwich, an Odeon or something like that. Anyway, there was like the special upper area with really soft seats, and you'd pay a bit more to sit up there, that kind of thing. And it used to be kind of like back in the day, like sort of date place for me and other members of the opposite sex. And I remember I was there with, I think it was with Lou actually, when we were dating. We were in that area watching a film, and we watched a couple come up to the top of those stairs, and it's only barriered off, look around, and then just step over it. And I'm like, okay, what do I do? Like, what the hell's the point? If everybody could do that, so let check me out. I was like, I'm gonna go grass them up. I went out to the member staff and went, like, they just like stepped over it, like, and they were like, oh. well, we can give you a refund. And I was like, wow, like that. Like, I just, like the idea, like, because what I'm getting at is that this wristband thing has to be hot, particularly at VR, particularly at Serpent's Lair, more than anything else, because there are going to be people trying, and you want to feel safe and know people are doing it. And I just noticed a few too many times, particularly the VIP thing, there wasn't really a lot of effort going into checking them. Yeah.
No, absolutely true. Yeah, I mean, a lot of even the good points that we made here, it kind of makes a mockery of it. You've got the police walking around trying to advise you how to hang on to your goods, where the security are like, oh, anyone can come and go as they please into the campsites and around people's tents. We're not even going to bother.
There it is. Oh, a couple more.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a few as well. So I mean, just I know another every year one and all that sort of stuff, but just the phone signal, the Wi-Fi, everything like that is just shit. It's
Mm,
shit. It's really, really shit, man. Like, and like unbelievably, like I don't really buy like a lot of the stuff that we kind of, there's a lot of people trying to share the signal and stuff. Like, we live in London, man. There's more people in like a square mile here, like considerably, than there is at Bloodstock. And you don't walk around the streets around here going, oh, no signal today. There must be a lot of people around me using it. I mean, when was that ever a thing? When did we all become so stupid that we fell for that? When you look at your phone and it says you've got 5G but no signal because everyone's sharing it.
yeah.
Fucking dumb as that, man. Then we honestly must be mugs. But either way, whatever it is, I find it immensely frustrating because of mainly wanting to do things like maybe, we work with the press, for example, watching something, posting the occasional article, anything like that, while walking around the festival, not while tethered to the press tent.
Yeah.
So anyway, there you go.
I got a different angle on that. I really wanted to ring my mum on the Friday when I smashed up my face. I tried to get into contact with my dad and then my mum later in the evening. I couldn't do that. Like I couldn't tell her until like Sunday. Um, and it's stuff like that. Like you have a medical emergency, you need to contact your family. How are you meant to do that?
What are you calling Marie for? I was there, man.
I meant
Ah, I got
call
you
her. I
crying
meant
on mummy.
in the fuck
Mom.
in the evening. In the evening. So she didn't because I knew that she'd probably see like a post or something about it from somebody, not that we had any fucking signal.
Um, yeah, I mean, I obviously I agree 100%. It is infuriating that I can do so little. I've been able to do more this year than ever before, thanks to a network change. Three was the absolute worst. I might as well have brought a brick with me. Whereas it is better, and I certainly had patches where it was better. But don't fool that people into thinking for it that I've spent any more time than anyone else. I'm talking about if I was far away. Well, basically, the further I was away from the fucking arena, the better it seemed to be. And that's weird, right?
Yeah. God,
It's because all
how's
the
that
people are
happening?
there sharing all the signal.
Yeah, all the people are there sharing all the signal.
Modern technology, man. You a
The
little bit
the
for
thing
you, a
that
little bit for you, a little bit for you. Oh, sorry, Brendan, we've got none left.
the
Yeah,
thing that
you're too
annoys me
late.
is
It ran
like
out.
the thing that pisses me off about it is if no one's getting signal, who's sharing it?
Yeah, who are you
Yeah.
sharing it with?
Like, I'm not
Far-
getting any. Like, can we
Farmer
share a little bit
Giles,
more, guys?
Farmer Giles with his Bluetooth stereo and his tractor down the road, perhaps.
That's it. That's it. Okay, right. On talking about like modern tech and stuff like that. Obviously, it's no secret that we had issues on Sunday, which I've already mentioned in previously. I'm not going to go too much into it here. Just to say, the camera has been. It was probably going to be its last year, likely to be. The camera is brilliant, still works well, but the batteries certainly need replacing. And then I was thinking about just changing it out anyway for something a bit different, a bit more modern, maybe. Saying that, there aren't many. It is still pretty. It's still a 4K camera, and it still does quality. But yeah, but then the combination of this new microphone I had, this new beast of a microphone, and it absolutely drinking batteries to to a bit of a shock level where I did not expect that, and that's where caused a bit of a problem as well. So all of that combined, and the reality of it just being a GoPro in the end was what we were going to be left with on Sunday meant, you know what, this is going to be far too amateurish. I wouldn't be unhappy and uncomfortable with it, and the GoPro wouldn't probably have the battery life for what we needed either. It just meant that we basically had to cancel our interviews. Like I said, thankfully, that's where reception came in handy, sitting in a tent sending some emails. But because I couldn't rely on them getting reception, I had to actively get them away. Most of the time, I got lucky and I was just in VIP, and then I saw who I needed to speak to, and I just go over and tell them. And everyone was pretty cool about it. But yeah, it's shit. And yeah, that's it. That's it on that. That's all I want to really say about it.
Yeah, yeah, understood. I've got more
Jesus.
bads in this.
Yeah, there's someone else to jump in now.
Yeah, yeah. I'll do like a small and obvious one, man, because it's not really anyone's fault. Like nothing can be done about it, but it's every year again, man. That fucking patch of grass ground is insane. Like it's a field, but made out of what? Like I don't understand because as much as like with the right effort you can get tent pegs in now, but we bought industrial tent pegs and we're bringing like household mallets rather than like camping mallets, and with that you can get those fuckers in, but you ain't getting them back. I mean, I don't know how many tent pegs I left behind. Like I didn't want to, and the only way we could even get one tent down in the end was by just ripping it off of the tent pegs.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Well,
It's like I've started to believe it's the lost hatch. You know the hatch from Lost that's in
mm,
on the island. It's that. That's what we're hammering it into. Paul Desmond's dad had gone, "The fuck's all that noise above?" It's us
yeah,
hammering tent pegs into his hatch.
probably him who's using up our fucking signal then, isn't it?
There it is.
Oh
Yeah, it's a
yeah,
funny one, man.
it's mad. Yeah, I am genuinely. I was actually good looking them up today. Looking at the screw in, screw out ones. They just treat it like it's industrial concrete. Gonna put
Yeah.
wall plugs in and everything, man.
Speaking of things that isn't the festival's fault, oh, it was a waspy year, wasn't it? Wasn't it a waspy year? Every fucking time I wanted to enjoy a Lily's mango cider, wasps would be alongside, going, "Oh, mate, I'll have a bit of that alongside you." To the point that I threw away more Lily's mango ciders than I drunk, just to not have wasps buzzing around me.
I see. They don't bother me. Is the truth. I genuinely couldn't care less. But also, like, I think because I don't drink cider, occasionally you just see like, oh, there are no wasps around me, and you just see them chasing three or four other people all walking around with their ciders. It'd be like, haha.
That's why I didn't know after you.
But turns out wasps don't like Guinness.
Yeah, turns out. I got one more.
Uh, I've got I've got one more as well, and then I've got one which we've already said about 100 times, so I probably won't say it.
Okay. I want to know now. Don't you want to know
Oh, well,
now?
I mean, yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, it's just gonna say the same thing again. Is like I'm just not. I when Bloodstock is fully sold out, which has been the last this year, obviously, and I think the last year, but I don't think it was sold out every day last year.
Mm.
I think there was like they made a big deal about saying that the Saturday was sold out or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So when that festival is fully sold out, I'm not convinced that that festival site is actually big enough for the sold out crowd.
Mm.
That's my honest opinion. Whether it's because of the poor management of some of the things like the merch and everything like that makes it feel worse. But the reality of it is that like when you have a lineup like they had this year, which may not be everyone's perfect taste, but they're big fucking bands. You got Nail Bomb going off in the Sophie. That's not even a headliner. Three big headliners going off. When something like that's happening and everyone floods to an area,
Yeah. You
it's the
feel it.
times when I think like, is this actually big enough? When you're trying to move, like you were saying, to go when you went to sort of go to the welfare tent, or when you're, say during, I don't know, Machine Head or Trivium or Gojira, if you needed to move from one part of the festival site to another. It's during those points there where I feel like, is this actually big enough for this size band? you know.
Yeah.
So there, I understand that, like, when I first started going there, it was selling well, but it was often at 85, 90, 95% capacity. And maybe that's the difference maker. But I think if they sell out fully every single day, I don't know. I'm just not 100% convinced that it's not about the campsites, it's not about the car parks and nothing like that. It's just that main
The arena.
central
It's the arena.
arena area.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced it's big enough.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not saying that they need to grow the festival, but you almost just feel like everything just needs to take one step back. Like, all the food vendors need to be 1 meter back, and it just like that sort of thing. I'm not talking about, oh, double the size or anything
Yeah.
like that.
Just a
Like,
slight.
it's just a little bit too big.
I like that. I like that. That's the way you put that. Everything just needs to take
Yeah.
one step back. Just a little bit more room.
Probably not the main stage though, because I think there's a river behind it, so we'll let them off. I
Yeah.
don't
Just
know.
you can get a little bit closer. Floating.
Yeah, floating main. Yeah, put the stage on the other side of the river, and then that can be the barrier, right?
The last one then, it's just simply this. It's basically, come on, guys, I know you want to watch bands, but you don't really want to go in the tents, but you're going to have to move from the entrance to let people in. This was particularly bad this year at the Sophie stage, particularly bad on the Sunday, and it's always infuriating to absolutely struggle to get through past that initial throng to then watch the entire tent be half empty on the other side. It's not, it would be, if you moved in just a bit, it would be easy for you to get in and out as well. It's not like you're going to struggle and be blocked in. There are certain bands where it's crazy no matter what. I believe Static X was, although I wasn't there for it. And I know it was for Nail Bomb, but I was already inside for that. But also this, right? And this is a bugbear of mine, but it's what I get, and it basically applies to the sun and shade. The EMP stage is not your, it's not fair for you to sit there watching the main stage in the shade when a band's playing and now you're just in the way from people actually wanting to watch the band play there. That's just selfish, man. I already think like if you're one of those who are guilty of that, you're going to tell me you don't give a fuck because the fact you already did it told me you didn't give a fuck. But man, oh man, that's a bad thing for me, basically. Just that, come on, people. The New Bloods can be bad as well. You get, you're like, oh my God, it's packed. And then as we know, the other side is nowhere even close. And the distance to get to the other side is fuck all, folks. So like, I don't get it. Just move in.
Yeah.
Are we all out of bad?
Uh, yeah. Everything I mean, I've got another one, but I've said it 4 times now.
What
Fucking
is it?
queues.
Just say it
Fucking
then. Say
queues.
it. Oh, fucking
Fucking
cues.
queues.
For what though? Like, is anything specific
Uh,
now?
yeah, okay, this wasn't really that much of a bad thing because it didn't actually hurt me, but only in one little minor way, which is at one point I wanted to go out of the main arena entrance to take a picture of the stand that had been done.
Ah,
But the queues of people trying to get in were as bad as it was everywhere else.
yeah.
And I don't know, is this an unfair criticism? But like I guess after a big band finishes, everyone goes to VIP, and so some of the queues again to try and get in there were really fucking big into VIP if a big band had come off. But that's just because there's a lot of people going to a funnel at once.
Yeah.
But then even getting to that was quite bad because the queues for the sign intent were quite big, and you couldn't
Mm.
get past the sign intent part of it because there was a queue for a water point that was quite big. And it's just like, yeah, fucking queues. Sorry.
Cues, and more cues.
We're meant to like queuing as well, isn't it? That's meant to be a British thing. I don't like
Yeah,
queuing.
that's what to say. Right, ugly. And like we said before, folks, this is just stuff that doesn't fit in the good and certainly doesn't fit in the bad either. It's just things that are a little bit ugly. And I'm going to start by throwing out Serpent's Lair Saturday night when we decided, me, Lou, Brendan, and Nick went, we'd go back to the camp and went, let's go back. You know what, fuck it. We never really, let's go back and Nick, I think Nick wanted to party a bit. It was like, let's go back to the VIP, sit down, have a drink and see what's going on. And it was like a ghost town. It was fucking weird. There was no party going on there. I think everyone fucks up to the Sophie tent, but like ain't VIP like Serpent's Lair kind of famous for that. But what was going on Saturday night? I, I thought we're like when you wake up next morning and go, oh, did I dream that? And it's like no, we really did that. Weird.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I'm aware that that's probably us. Like, as in, like, not being aware of where the party's kind of going on. Because even like when you and Lou went back, and me and Nick stayed for a bit longer, but not for much longer, like for
Mm,
a few more minutes, thinking like, oh, it's gonna go off any minute. It's gonna go
yeah.
off, But nothing did. But then as we're walking back to the campsite, you can just hear discos going off and everything.
Right.
So I just think like that's as much on us not realizing that there's something still happening. Maybe where like apparently there was one night where there was a huge DJ thing on the main stage. So people were like just
Okay.
sort of sitting down on the grass outside it while the DJ was doing his stuff up on the main stage. And then there are other discos in the Sophie and in the New Blood. But in previous years being there, I remember things like silent discos and stuff going off in the Serpent's Lair. So I remember
Mm.
being in there while it was absolutely rammed and there were silent discos happening in there. So I don't know.
Well, we did think Tool cover band
Yeah.
as a sort of party thing was an odd choice of a tribute band to have on a Saturday night. That's
Yeah.
I like Tool, but come on, doesn't exactly scream let's party.
Nah, it sucked the energy out of a lot of the people.
Clearly, go on, who's got an ugly?
I did have
Oh,
that one as well. So, but go on, Dan.
Um, it's this is my bad, but it kind of fits more into the bad. But if you're gonna make everyone empty their water bottles, you should have more water points. And with better water pressure because I went first thing on the Thursday to fill up our like massive tabard with water, and the water pressure was so shocking. I was stood there for about 45 minutes and I only got it about halfway full. And then I came back and my dad spilled most of it out. So that was good.
By accident. It was
But
Thursday, you
yeah,
know what I mean?
if you're gonna make everyone tip out their water, then have some better water points, more of them too. dotted around because they're in the same places every year, and there's always got like three measly little taps that are spurting out like dribbles of water. And on like a really hot day like Sunday, you need water.
Yep.
Not
Yeah.
really.
So this is a specific incident, but
Mm.
unsurprisingly, it connects to queuing.
Oh my fucking god.
I don't like queues, but so there was one. Well, it connects to a lot of things, right? We've spoken about the odd moment of inconsistency around rules, or not really understanding what the rules are and that sort of thing. We also spoke about the busyness of the site, and in particular, I mentioned about when about a reasonable sized band, like say everyone had gone to see, suddenly everyone wanted to come back in the Serpent's Lair, and there being a particularly large queue. Now, one time when I came back in there, I was with Gemma. I think I was with Nick, and obviously I was with Rose. And we queued up. We went back through. We got a beer. Because all we were doing was going back in there to get a beer that we wanted,
Mm.
particularly from there, and then we was going to go back out again. So because it was quite busy with people coming in, we stood to the side for a while until it sort of cleared out, and then we went to walk through because there was pretty much no one coming through now. And the security guard told us that you're not allowed to go through this way. You have to pour your drinks out and go around to accessibility. And then behind us now, a little queue was starting to form, including one guy who was like, "Nah, there's no one even coming through, mate. Just let us through." And he just went to walk through, and he got quite manhandled by that security guard, like not actually
Ooh,
putting hands on, but using his shoulder to try and block him and push him into the wall.
weird.
And he got very, very aggressive while everyone's going like, "Whoa, whoa, dude, what are you doing?" Like he's going, "You can't come through this way. You've got to pour your drinks out and go around accessibility." Like it had been made one way because of how many people were coming through, but
Mm.
no one had been told that, and right now there was no one else coming through. So two other security people that were there actually came over and started trying to stop him manhandling people. And while that was all going off, like we all just walked past anyway and left. And the guy that he was trying to block pushed through and went off anyway. And as we left there were two security guards seemed to be trying to say to this guy, like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what are you doing? That was an ugly moment that seemed completely unnecessary because
Yeah.
if there is a rule now that I mean, how do you even enforce that? Like, at certain points, you're not allowed to use that end exit to get back into the arena. Like, none of us have ever been told or ever seen it. Now, you have to use common sense. We stood to the side, waited for the people to
Yeah.
die down, and then when it was died down, we went to walk through. But he obviously felt that you weren't allowed to anymore, and he was probably doing what he thought was the right thing, which was
Mm.
enforce his job. But between three security guards, one thought I'm enforcing, and the other two were saying to him, like, "What are you enforcing, dude?" And it just
Mm.
seemed like a real mess. And to be honest with you, it could have got ugly really, really quickly because that guy that was trying to get past him and him trying to barge him, like it only stayed barging, but it could have quite quickly turned, ugly.
Yeah.
So it just
Even
seemed
uglier.
unnecessary. And even if there was a rule in place, common sense has to prevail sometime. And there was a real lack of common sense in that instance, which is like, I get it. There's loads of people coming through. You can't go out at the moment. But like, there's no people coming through now, so actually, you guys are all right. You could go. You can go.
Common sense has always worked here because if there is a mass of people trying to squeeze through that entrance way there, if you want to get out, if you're the kind of person who's like, well, I'm leaving now, regardless of the mass of people, the only way you're getting out there is to force your way through people. Someone is going to punch you before you even get even a third of the way. That's why common sense says when that happens, you just don't leave the serpent's lair, or you leave before. You use your brain. There's never been a reason to police it. I've never heard of that. I've never seen that. So yeah, that's an odd one to say the least.
Yeah, it was very, very weird and a little ugly.
Yeah. Okay. The Aussie Wall, which is a good thing overall. I should have actually mentioned the good, but whatever. However, I went to go look at it Sunday, and then when I was looking at it Sunday, I couldn't help noticing that there was some additional graffiti that had been done over it, including cock and balls and some insulting messages, because people are just the fucking worst. Because some people saw that and thought, I'm going to go over there and I'm going to write something nasty, and I'm going to be rude and just ruin what is a nice thing. I mean, the fuck, man. Like, really?
Yep, that is stupid and horrible. Does show though that if they want to, if they need to expand the arena every now and then, they're able to do certain things.
Yeah, that was a step back as well. That's the perfect
Yeah,
place
yeah.
to step back. Yeah. Dan, you got any ugly?
Yeah, I've got a bit of a bee in my bonnet about these some of the merchant stands that just kind of sell miscellaneous, really shitely printed merch. Like, why are you selling like uh Fruit of the Loom sugar shirts when they're not playing, and like they're horrible quality. And there's like 7 of these different stands that just sell like weird off-brand rips.
Yep.
Get rid of them. They're really out. They feel really out of place. It makes the whole bit feel shit. And like I don't want to go near any of the stuff, because if you're like right next door to like this place that's essentially selling bootlegs, I don't really trust what the next guy's selling either. But I think it's a me thing. I think there's probably loads of people that enjoy it.
Oh yeah, I think it is.
I think
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
it's probably a bit unfair, to be honest, to judge the guy pitch next door.
Yeah. Poor
Like,
guy trying to sell
No,
some
I
fucking
mean, I think-
beads and cushions, and Dan's like, "No, you rip-off merchant. I don't want your cheap beads."
I
hate-
don't want their
I
cheap
hate-
beads. Get rid of
I
it.
hate your
Put the
neighbour.
fucking bad merch.
I'm not going to trouble you because I hate your neighbor.
No,
Now,
I think I meant more as I think it makes the festival look bad as a whole. It makes all of the merchant stands and the festival, it takes it all down, where you've got these weird bootlegs. And you've got those, but yet all the new blood bands are having to put their shit in the orange merch bit, the Bloodstock official one. It makes no sense to me.
Fair enough. Okay. I'm going to jump in with this isn't Bloodstock specific, so to speak, but I just noticed a fair bit of it on because of the big screens. So look, someone's looking at the big screens and be like, "Oh, there's the pit," and I'll be like, "Oh, Lacuna Coil are playing. Oh, there's the pit. Why are people two-stepping to Lacuna Coil?" And I've just realised that now it's just people are just going to do it. No matter what the band is, and with that, because they know if they can get in a pit and start doing that, it means they can start swinging fists, and it won't be a problem. We need to start cracking down on this, folks. And I mean, we need to start cracking down on the 1 or 2 dudes who are going to any pit and with their elbows. I watched one video online where some guy elbows some guy in the face for no reason. You can see him target him, just goes bosh, stuff like that. And obviously that leads to Dan's nose incident as well, which, according to many people on Facebook as well, have pretty much described it as I thought, that somebody just punched you. Somebody didn't. That is not fucking. I don't care. I swear to fucking Christ, if I see one cunt go, that's just how it is. Punching people in the fucking face, elbowing people in the head is not. That is not. That's how it is. If you don't like it, don't get in a hardcore pit. Honestly, you got lucky. You fucking got lucky, and you can feel proud or whatever about it, and that you came out okay, and that's cool. But honestly, man, what one day this is gonna blow up bad, and it's gonna be something serious. It's something serious, and the whole it's okay because it's in a pit isn't gonna fucking fly. When I'm looking up and going, why are people two-stepping to Lacuna? What are we even doing anymore? Like, and I know it's not blood specific, but it feels like an endemic that's beginning to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. And I am intrigued by a ban next year that's going to encourage this to perhaps to a degree where there might be finally an incident that's so bad. And I don't want there to be, but I firsthand, because of you, like to get involved in some of this, experienced what I think is a lucky end of lucky enough at it that it could have gone so much worse. And I can't tell you not to do that shit. Do your thing. But like, what the fuck is going on? That this level of violence is now just accepted. That you're riding someone's back. Someone punched you, Dan. Someone called it a sucker punch. A sucker punch. Well, like fucking insane.
Yeah, just unfortunate. It shouldn't have happened.
It's not unfortunate. No, it's not unfortunate for someone punching you. You punching. Someone saw you on that guy's back and went, "I'm gonna fucking punch that." That's a violent, dangerous person.
That's
assault. Should be. Yeah, it's assault. In any other fucking capacity, you could press charges. I mean, Jesus Christ. Like, that's it. But you're like, no, but you're smiling because that's how it's done, right? And it's cool. And
No,
like,
I'm not. No,
I'm not. It's driving me fucking nuts because I had to fucking race across. This isn't about missing Paleface Swiss. It's the panic. The moment, all because of stat, man. And at the same time, like I said, I'm just seeing it become the norm, and I see it too much at Bloodstock, and I'm seeing like, oh yeah, look at this immense pit to Rough Justice, and it was Kubla Khan, and it's just watching people try to fucking hurt each other because people who are violent by nature are using it as an opportunity now because they think it's okay to get away with it. We need to stamp this out properly, and like you say, oh, most people are having fun. most people aren't from what I'm seeing anymore. Most people are trying to hurt each other. And that's my worry that we're going to have a bad incident. The Bloodstock's going to have a bad incident. A gig's going to have a bad incident. We've had and it will cause, you know what I mean? Like you had a bad incident. I'm putting it in the ugly because it was ugly for you, and that's where it ended.
My nose is fucking ugly now.
Yeah, but what if have you been hit hard enough that your nose fucking smashed up and
I
shit?
do. I immediately lost my train of thought. Sorry, that's
Well, you
helpful.
can tell I'm angry about it. I'm angry about it. I can't fix this, and it's not even Bloodstock's fault. It's just because this occurred at
Oh,
Bloodstock is why it's coming here. But
my
I've gotten angrier and angrier about this.
my train came back.
Hmm.
He's arrived at the station. Uh, this could have happened. This incident could have happened at any other show, and I wouldn't have had
Of course.
EMTs on standby. And that's the lucky thing, I suppose, that it happened at Bloodstock, and
True.
not at like a local show where I would have just had to like, I don't know, walk to the hospital.
Yeah, I mean that's true. That is true. It was lucky that there was medical kind of aid. So like, well, 100 yards away, really,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and good medical aid as well. So that was very very lucky. But when you roll all of these things up into kind of like one thing, I know we've spoken about a lot of topics here. Like Carl, you mentioned about sort of like the panic and like not knowing. We obviously your son, so but we were worried too. So, but we
I
had
kind
no
of just
idea.
rushed off, didn't I?
Well, we had
Yeah.
no idea what was going on. All we knew was that Dan had been taken to the welfare tent. Like we didn't know if that was a minor thing, like he maybe I don't know, exhaustion because of the heat, or like if you'd been hurt or anything like that. And it's not like because of fucking Farmer Giles down the road with his Bluetooth radio and Desmond in the bunker on the VIP, we can. Oh, it's all right because we'll just call them and find out. You
Yeah.
know. So like a lot of that sort of stuff all kind of starts tying together, or that one of us can we'll just pop over there and check because we can't pop over there because of the fucking queues. you
and the
know,
chairs.
and it's not like Carl said earlier on. It's not like you can walk through the fucking middle because all that'll do is like we'll just be starting to do a kind of relay into the welfare tent. I'll walk
Yeah.
through there, get punched in the back of the head, and Dan will be coming out while I'm going in.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like my feelings on this whole sort of scene. Like I don't know how you solve it. I agree with your anger around it. I feel quite sad about these mosh pits. I genuinely do. I feel like 50 or 70 years of mosh pit etiquette and generational mosh pits and look after each other and pick each other up has been thrown out of the window by this current generation of bands. And the only people that can truly stop it are the bands.
Mm.
The fans will do what the band want them to do. If the band
Yeah.
are on stage going, go and kill each other, the fans will go and fucking kill each other and then use that as an excuse to take that mosh pit into every mosh pit that they possibly can. Whereas the
Yeah.
bands are saying, go hard, but look after each other. Go hard, but help each other up. Or dude, I can see you throwing punches. Stop that. Yeah,
Yeah.
we've been at gigs in the past, and I know like the new generation of these bands and stuff look at the older guys like, oh, they're all dicks. But I've watched bands like Down stop crowds and say, no, enough. You're
Yeah.
trying to hurt each other. We don't do that.
Yeah. We
It's
had
not
gigs stop when
every
people are
band. It's
fighting.
not,
Yeah.
but it's not. I know I'm not trying to like. It's not every hardcore band. It's not every slam band or every deathcore band. It's not everyone, but there are culprits out there, and the only people that fans listen to are the bands.
Hmm.
So if I don't know, maybe it has to happen. Maybe a serious incident has to happen for people to actually pay attention. But even if a serious incident happens and somebody gets killed, God forbid, that won't stop the fans from doing it. It will only be if the band starts saying like, no, enough, guys, we can't have this at our shows.
Yeah. You want to add anything, Dan? Because obviously you're the victim. We're talking, obviously, you're the actual victim. You were the actual victim in this scenario. But obviously, this is a world you live within. And obviously, you're pro it to a degree.
I think is a real fine line. I think hardcore dancing and like swinging your arms around like a dickhead, as long as you're not actually actively going for people, is fine. But it's when you
Hmm.
start going into like the crowd killing aspect of stuff, because there is a real split off between hardcore dancing, two stepping, all that's okay. Punching people in the face that are at the back of the crowd, not so okay.
Yeah.
And I'll understand I was in a hardcore pit. Like I know what to expect. Like I've been hurt, just not this badly. Um, I generally as well. Like when I went down, people did still try and pick me up. It was just in
Probably
conjunction with me.
to hit you
Probably,
again.
no, it really did. I loved the.
Hold him
I
up.
loved.
Ooh.
I loved the intention. The execution was really bad though because I was trying to hold my nose together, and as they were
No,
grabbing my
lifting your
arms,
arms up, yeah,
it was making me knock it. I
yeah.
was like, "Fuck, stop!" Like, so yeah, there was a real, yeah, there's a fine line I think with it, and yeah, all I can say is I hope people don't get hurt. Stay safe out there.
Yeah, fair enough. Right. I'm going to throw a few more, which is basically just individual people I saw. Two people I saw who I just thought, well, what pair of dicks. One was the person who lit up a cigarette in the middle of New Blood. Seriously, who the fuck does that these days? Like, fuck off, man. I walked past him, he's lighting a cigarette. I'm like, are you kidding me in the middle of New Blood? I remember when it was commonplace to do that, but like, it's kind of been sort of phased out. I didn't really see much in the way of smoking inside tents these days at all. But like, come on, man. But I was in the Sophie tent watching a band, and the band said, "Hey, everyone, let me see your hands." So people raised their hands. The old dude in front of me did a Nazi salute. His
Oh,
mate, his mate hit him and was like, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm only joking." And I said to Lou, "When did throwing up Nazi salutes become a joke? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, is this like this
What
is weird?
what band was this in? Did you
I kind
remember?
of we earlier when we were writing these notes, me and Lou were going back and forth over who the fuck it was because we know it was early in the day. We couldn't quite
Who
remember.
did you see that? And I'm not trying to say that this is in any way related to that. And I know it's pure accident, and I can't remember the band. It may have been. Who was that kind of more rock band that was playing in there? Like, it probably wouldn't have been them because I don't think you would have gone and seen them, but I can't remember. But anyway, they bought like some patches and stuff like that and put it on their jacket. And what they didn't realize was that one of the patches they had on their jacket was a Nazi symbol.
Oh,
Um, so it got
oh,
called out by people sort of like taking pictures of it, zooming in and all that. And the band came out and were like, "Look, like if you know us, you know this is not us." Like we had
oh,
no idea. He bought it because it looked cool, and he had it like on a patch. Like, and I had to apologize. I was just thinking in my head whether or not like that was a known sort of joke because people were like, "Oh, look, he's wearing Nazi symbols, stuff like that," and maybe
mm.
there was a relation. But then, yeah,
Oh,
I'm
we
reaching. So
yeah, we
I,
cracked our heads.
I did actually in some of the dog shit stalls that all sell bootleg merch. I did find a couple Iron Cross patches being displayed, and I was horrified by that. I also I've got one more ugly.
Go on.
I always catch a couple Burzum t-shirts at every Bloodstock. I saw a record amount of Burzum t-shirts this
I
year.
didn't see any this year.
no, I
I
didn't.
saw so fucking many. It was
Oh,
nuts.
okay. Didn't see any. That's crazy.
I
You need to
saw
stop. You need to stop hanging out with people like that, Dan. That's why you're seeing so many.
my bad.
Doing your fucking hardcore here. I got. I've got two uglies, but one really, one really. So, like, if anybody's got any more,
I don't actually have any more because I guess we'll summarize at the end because despite we always end on the negatives, like it was a very pretty festival, not a
oh
very
yeah,
good
yeah.
festival. But yeah, go do your ones.
Oh, it's just the underwhelming 2026 announcements. Now, I actually think this is really, really to do with us more than anything else. Here's the thing, folks. We all suffer from it when things are bigged up, and you naturally create anticipation, and it gets conversations going, and you're like, "Oh my god, it could be this, it could be this, it could be the best thing about." Oh my god, Bloodstock's 25th anniversary, I mean everything. And so when the bands then get announced, and they're not necessarily to your taste, you are, or maybe you've seen them a few too many times, whatever it is, you're naturally going to feel underwhelmed. That was my feeling for the most part. That really relates to the headline as one more shock than underwhelmed, but like across sort of the lineup it's sort of that sense of underwhelmed. I do believe like Bloodstock shot themselves in the foot in a way. They did sort of get a little bit like you won't believe the bands we booked for like 2026, like, and then it's like, but like that's Lamb of God who have played here quite a few times, and Judas Priest who have played here a lot of times. And are you talking about Slaughter to Prevail? Because yeah, you definitely got that right. Nobody believed that. And you can see by the reaction in any of the live videos, or even then when you see those videos of reactions, people are like, what? But then the lineup overall, just as it's being announced, you can kind of tell like it just felt like it was just a Bloodstock announcement, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing. But obviously, you're naturally going to feel underwhelmed because in your head you're picturing 25 years of Bloodstock. My God, they've been growing in size. I saw one right where people being asked who might play next year. One guy said Rammstein. Rammstein, who do stadiums on their own. Like this is the level of like what people have reached feverishly reached, you know? So I think that's why it's an ugly and not bad, because I just think we kind of did it to ourselves. But I've still got some part to blame because you got to big shit up, you best deliver. And I don't necessarily think they did completely, particularly in the headline side of things. But we also all to blame for bigging it up ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It was underwhelming, is the kindest I can put it. Uh, in some ways it's a positive. I try and take a positive out of it because one of the things that was really hard about this year was loving all three headliners and so
Mm,
many bands on the main stage, you know. So I didn't get to go and chill in the shisha tent or do any of that stuff this year because everything was too fucking good. So I guess thank you, Bloodstock, for giving me reasons to step away from the main stage for a while. I have
you
no
went.
interest in Slaughter to Prevail. Oh my God, like it's there are videos that I've seen, and even the official video, although people believe it's been tinkered with, but you can still hear it to a degree where when they that comes up on the stage, it's like there are a lot of confused looks,
Yeah,
a lot of like, huh? But there are plenty of boos as well.
it's going to be an
I think
interesting
I
one
was one
next
of
year, to
them.
say the least. I think a lot
I
of
think I
people
was.
were.
Yeah, that's a genuinely vexing announcement. As a festival that I care quite a lot about, it's a confusing one, especially with the links to the Sophie Lancaster Foundation. I find it quite strange, but I will leave my comments.
Yeah,
Well,
it
that'll
is
be
a
looked at.
strange. It is strange. But I do think like there's an element of like familiarity to it. Like, and there are like better band. There were some good bands announced that I am very, very happy about that are like not headliner sort of status, like that
Mm,
are lower down. So that was kind of cool. Yeah, Orbit Culture and a few bits and pieces like that. And there are tons more. So I guess to me it feels a bit like this could be like one of those earlier Bloodstocks that I went to a few years ago where there's going to be a shitload more for me lower down the bill in the Sophie tent, in the New Blood tent. You know,
yeah.
this time round, just hope the rest of the announcements are better.
That's for next year, and as we get work our way, so we're going to wrap up this the good, the bad, and the ugly. Well, let's just wrap up as we always do. We like I said, the last two sections tend to be a bit more negative, even though ugly is supposed to be a little bit more fun, light-hearted. But I wholeheartedly think this was another great Bloodstock. It's hard for me to be like, oh, it's the best ever Bloodstock or whatever, because that varies. But like as an overall experience, just and I mean no bands, just the experience of being with people, the weather, except for that weird shower downpour we had Thursday evening, but thankfully it was brief and it didn't come back. To that, to the vibe overall in the festival, the people we met, the drinks we had, all of that. I think it was a very strong Bloodstock overall. When you throw in the bands, as I said, it was a mixed bag for me. But what I saw, I did enjoy, and we'll obviously get more into that in the band review. But yeah, like I reflect in this Bloodstock in a positive light for the most part.
Yeah, so do I. Very positively for me. A lot down again to my daughter. For me, it was the strongest headliner Bloodstock I've been at. As in like Friday, Saturday, Sunday main stage, all three headliners killed it and did
Yeah,
a really good job. That's where it was the best. I don't know if the lineup overall. No, I know overall it wasn't. Like I don't know why I'm saying I don't know. I know overall it wasn't, but in
yeah.
terms of like a headliner sort of level, it was like yeah, that was the best. Uh, Had a great time, man. Got totally wasted a lot, especially on Thursday. Because remember, don't go hard
You,
on Thursdays.
yeah, you would have drunk one on Thursday this
I was
time.
fucked, man. I was just falling
Oh, I
over.
remember.
Like,
Yeah, you came back and sat in the chair, and you were just like, you looked so shocked by like everything you were
yeah.
seeing.
I just remember, like, oh, just those mad, happy drunk stuff though. Like happy
Yeah,
drunk. You know what I mean? Not like I'm gonna be sick or anything like that, but just sort of standing there, and then as you're talking to a person who's, I don't know, half a meter away. But they're getting further away, and you don't really realize it's just because you're like falling backwards and staggering
yeah.
backwards, and then I just go straight over, get back up, and just try and carry on the conversation, and then go over again. It's just like, oh, I think I'm drunk. But generally, look, I had a great time. I ate some good, met loads of cool people that I hadn't met before, met loads of cool people that we had met before, saw some great music, drank a lot of beer, enjoyed the weather. It was a good festival.
I agree. I This was probably my favorite Bloodstock to date. Given how much I've whinged about it. It was just a great vibe like the whole time. Didn't feel like sick at any points. All the drinks I had were really nice. It was great company, it was banging. I'm really miss it. I've been see you get home on the Monday, you're like, thank God I'm fucking home. Tuesday, I
Oh, yeah.
woke up like, fuck's sake, why not I in a tent?
Hmm. Yeah, there you go, folks. This Bloodstock 2025, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Of course, do check out our band review as well. That's a separate video. And yeah, we'll see you next year. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It does help us out. You can find us at gbhbl.com and across all social media platforms. And if you really want to give us a bit of extra support, please consider buying us a cup of coffee over on our coffee page. Thank you.